Have you ever stopped to think that maybe the simplest words can build the most amazing worlds? Well, today we're going to dive into the story of a game developer who does exactly that. He creates these entire sprawling RPGs using only the most basic English. And let me tell you, it is a wild story about how powerful limits can actually be. The door is locked. I mean, come on, we have all seen this a million times in a video game, right? It's simple, it's direct, it's kind of a dead end. It works, but it's totally forgettable. It feels like the absolute most basic thing a developer could write. But what if I told you that this level of simplicity wasn't the work of a beginner? What if it was the deliberate, careful choice of a master craftsman? And that's really the big question we're digging into. Is this a weakness, or is it a secret strength? Okay, so let's meet the guy at the center of all this, a Japanese creator who goes by the name Aoki. And his vision is, well, it's pretty out there. He builds his games using only what they call middle school English in Japan. To put that in perspective, that's like a super basic A1 to A2 level for international language learners. And get this isn't just some one-time experiment he tried. Aoki has finished 7 full role-playing games this way. That's 7 whole adventures, every single one built on a foundation of the simplest English you can possibly imagine. This is a dedicated philosophy, and he's putting it into action. So you've got to be asking, why? Why do this to yourself? It's definitely not because Aoki lacks the skill. It all comes down to a really powerful lesson he learned from one particular game, a game that totally flipped his perspective on what games should even be. And there it is. For Aoki, playing Demon's Souls was a total game changer. He had this big revelation. The real magic of a game wasn't in some complicated story. No, it was in the pure gameplay loop. Managing risk, beating insane challenges, and actually growing as a player. So if gameplay is king, then everything else, even the language, should just serve that goal as simply and directly as possible. And that experience really shaped his whole philosophy. For him, games are a way to grow. The gameplay, the challenge, the strategy, that's what really matters. And this is so important. He believes that just finishing a project is the most important thing, and that having too much freedom, endless choices, can actually stop you from creating anything at all. So the simple English, it's a limitation that frees him up to focus on what he truly cares about.
Okay, now this is where things get really, really interesting. Because to create something that looks so simple on the surface, Aoki had to build this incredibly sophisticated, super rigid system of rules. It's a total paradox, right? To get consistent simplicity, you need a really deep understanding of complex structures.
So instead of just writing whatever he feels like, Aoki uses these templates for common stuff, like an NPC giving you a quest. Check this out. Step 1, state the problem. I've dropped my necklace. Step 2, make the request. Can you get it? Step 3, mention the reward. I'll reward you. It's a formula. By turning the creative process into a system, he makes sure every bit of dialogue is clear, has a purpose, and pushes the game forward without any extra fluff. And here you can see his rules in action. Just tightening up the language. The original sentence, there are charms that help you protect against status effects. I mean, it's fine. But his rule is to avoid stuff like there are. And the result? Some charms help you protect against status effects. It's just tighter, it's stronger, it's more direct. It's a tiny change, but it makes a real difference. This just goes to show you how deep this system really is. He has these incredibly specific rules for using the word the, which, if you've ever learned a second language, is a nightmare. So it's the Doro Desert, but it's not the Lake X. This isn't just guesswork, folks. It is a carefully built system designed for total consistency. And that leads us to a really important point. Oitsuki has completely thrown out the idea of sounding like a native speaker. He thinks that's a vague and kind of inconsistent goal. Instead, he's trying to create an international English, a logical, rule-based system that is crystal clear for a global audience of non-native speakers, just like him. So what does this all add up to? You'd think working inside this strict cage of rules would kill creativity. But as we're about to see, it actually does the exact opposite. It unlocks these new, really powerful ways to tell a story. So take a look at this line from a village elder. The grammar feels a little weird, doesn't it? Never has our village been attacked. I mean, you could just say our village has never been attacked, so why write it this way? And the answer is just So cool. The grammar is the storytelling tool. By flipping the sentence around like that, it puts all the focus, all the weight on that one word, never. This is so deliberate. It's this huge, blinking, ominous sign for the player. The second you hear that line, you just know that village is going to get wrecked. It's brilliant foreshadowing, and it's all done with a simple grammar trick. This just perfectly shows his whole method. He's using specific grammatical structures as if they were design tools. That inversion thing, that's for emphasis. Other structures make challenges clearer or spell out cause and effect for the player. Here, grammar isn't just about being correct. It's an active, essential part of the game's design. So, the big question, does it work? Oh yeah, it absolutely works. Here's some feedback from one of his Japanese players. They say, "Hey, I'm not good at English, but I understood everything. And more importantly, the story was so good it made me want to keep playing." I mean, that's it, right? That is the ultimate proof that his entire method is a massive success. So, as we start to wrap this up, what can we all take away from Aoki's really unique way of making games? Because I think it's a lesson that goes way beyond just language or game design. The big idea is really this. True mastery, true genius, isn't about using all the fancy tools or the big, complicated words. It's about understanding the basic tools so deeply that you can use them with surgical precision to create something powerful. Aoki is a master of the fundamentals, and that's what makes his work so brilliant. You know, this quote from Aoki himself just says it all. For so many creative people, that blank page, the endless possibilities, it's paralyzing. By choosing his limitations, by literally building his own cage, Aoki gave himself the structure he needed to be truly free and incredibly creative. Which kind of leaves us with one final question for you. Think about it. We all have limitations, right? Things we think we're not good at, resources we don't have. But what if, like Aoki, you started to see those things not as weaknesses, but as the actual framework for your next great idea? What masterpieces are just sitting there, waiting for you to create them inside your own set of rules?